and welcome along to the Invincible podcast with my man Lee Judges and also Julian Becker in the building, right? We've got big smiles on our faces at last. We had a rough couple of games, right? But now the smiles are back. And do you know why? It's because we won the North London derby, putting Spurs back in their Boxley. And it's a 2-1 win. Should have been more, though. Oh, yeah. Did you see Son when he scored that goal? He ran over to everyone in the North Bank and was shushing them. And I was like, you went too early again, mate. Too early.
Is that a bit Spursy there, Mr. Song? But listen, I've had a couple of me Spurs mates on today. Oh, yeah, all going overboard, we're crap and all that, like, you know. But you,
and they are.
But you was thinking he was going to at least get a draw in that game, like that. I mean, we're turning you over, giving it large. I see their end full of all their fans. You know what I mean? What are you doing there then? Like, if the team's crap, you're not going to win. You think you was going to get a win, you was going to get a draw, you was going to stop us do this, and then it comes out. Oh, Mikel going over the board. You know, don't you realise we're crap and all that? We know you're crap. We've been telling you for years, but you don't listen to us. Listen, that's the worst Spurs team I've seen in the Emirates era.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. I thought they had very little to offer. My reaction at the end of the game was one of relief. I mean, I was pleased. I was really pleased that they won, but it was more relief. It was just refreshing to see us actually get a result, and it wasn't just the pleasure of seeing us win. It was the pleasure of seeing them lose. And also I take great pleasure in the fact they are that bad. You know, it's great to see. It really is.
To me, first of all, with those Spurs fans, I said it last night, right? Remember last season? They were talking about they want to stop us. Let's lose against Man City. Yeah. No way do I want us to win against Man City. Let's lose that game to stop Arsenal.
They had a chance.
Well, you had your chance twice this season to stop Arsenal, right? You had a chance at home and you had a chance last night and you failed in both, right? I don't want to hear nothing about injuries, right? Because a couple of seasons ago when we went to their place, right, when we were going for the league, we had loads of injuries. Remember we had to play Rob Holding, we had to bring in Eddie Nketiah. And remember that game when we got beat?
Yeah.
Went down to 10 men, I didn't hear any Arsenal fan complain about injuries. And I never heard them sympathising with us over injuries. Plus, we've got injuries. We've probably got injuries to bigger players than them, right? Van der Ven's missing. What, is Van der Ven more important than Saka? Saka is so important to us.
He played at Tottenham Stadium as well.
Van der Ven played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah.
So did Romero, so did all of them. We're missing Saka, we're missing Jesus, we're missing Calafiori, we're missing Ben White
and Tomiyasu.
Right? Tomiyasu. Yeah, you're playing Archie Gray. We're playing Mars Lewis Skelly. You had a great game, right? So listen, on the injury fronts, that game was even, right? You just got turned over. And also, I give the team a lot of credit because as really you say how bad they've been, which they have, they've been awful, right? But they did just come off the back of, you know, beating Liverpool. They beat Liverpool 1-0 at home. Right,
and a good 3-0 win against Tamworth.
In extra time.
Right, they went away. They went away and beat City comprehensively. Yeah. They are that type of team.
With that team, by the way, with that same team, defenders,
with that same team, they are the type of team, Spurs, right? That despite their their frailties, right, they can turn up and hurt you. And that's why we were nervous near the end, because it's only 2-1. And you're looking at it thinking, it's only 2-1 and it should be 5-1. Yeah. Declan Rice said it after the game. We should have won it by probably about 5 goals. And we didn't take our chances yet again. But that's why we were nervous. Only reason we were nervous, because I mean, Porro had that shot right at the end.
Yeah,
yeah.
It hit the post.
Ryan had that covered, by the way.
I'm not sure, but if he hits the post and you're only 2-1 up, it would be humiliating if we ended up only getting a draw against them. And one of the things we can...
that's what they... You know, when I was chatting to Expressions the night before, he was saying, boy, he goes, I'll take a draw because it stops you lot. So even a draw...
Yeah. You know, and there's more pressure on us yesterday because they had the draw in their favour as well, didn't they? Like, you know, I will say about Spurs, I was impressed with their two teenagers. They've got two very, very good teenagers.
Archie Gray.
Archie Gray, very, very good, and Bergveld. I thought that they're their best two players. Teenagers are their best two players in the team.
Maddison, when he came on, was awful, wasn't he? He did nothing. Like, you're right. It was the youngsters that played well. All the senior players, I mean, the two in midfield, Sarr and Basuma, were dreadful.
Do you know what? Can I just talk about Basuma a little while? I actually wanted him at Arsenal.
A lot of people wanted him.
I thought he was really... They
were talking about 100 million for him at the time.
You know what I mean? Like, we dodged a bullet with him. Like,
you know what, Lee? Right? I spoke to someone at Arsenal at the when everyone was saying Basuma, and he said to me, he goes, "Yeah, I don't think we'll go for him, Robbie, because he's a good defensive midfielder, but he hasn't really got no passing range and stuff like that." It's actually true what they said about him. Obviously, they would have scouted him. So remember, like, he's always had that like destroyer type thing, but they were like passing, and when you compare him to like a Partey or a Rice,
but that's the thing, that
it's a million miles.
That some fans get it in their head because one person says it, "Oh, we need Basuma," and then everyone starts saying, "We need Basuma."
No, but even me,
but they're not looking. They're not looking at the player.
I looked at him at Brighton, and I thought,
at Brighton, he looks a really good player.
Do with, like, you know what I mean? I looked at them yesterday, and you know, you got an 18-year-old kid for them out shining them two, but they're more senior midfield players by a country mile. Like, I know we look about Skelly. Skelly played very, very well yesterday, but he's not the. You know, you look at the Gabriel, you've got Saliba, but like, you know, them two players are their star performers. I thought that Archie Gray, by the way, playing out of position yesterday. He looked decent. He looked very, very good.
He looked decent. I mean?
But they're the only two.
Yeah, what do you make of their goalkeeper?
He done all right on certain things, but
bro, that guy, right? He's the lucky. Listen, he's lucky today, right, that we didn't take advantage of the amount of times, right, he got closed down and lost the ball. I got to look at Big Andrew, this guy, because I'm like, Big Andrew should then be sending an instruction out to him and saying, "Listen, I know we want to play it out but we're going to have to go long a few times because you're getting caught all the time."
But that's not who they are, is it?
It's not who we are, mate.
Yeah, it's not who they are.
But we are, mate.
And that's what done. I'll tell you what, I'll give the goalkeeper credit. Like, you know, he's even trying to chest them. Like, you know,
he didn't catch it.
What's he trying to do? Like, you know,
he was dreadful.
It's a new way of goalkeeping and all that. But listen.
But he should have been only reserved, that guy.
Yeah. He's done all right on crosses and all that.
He's still a young kid. I think he's going to be a superb goalkeeper.
But Spurs, like, this is the thing with Tottenham. I was talking to Bill, who's like my mum's partner in Spurs today. Like, that ball into Basuma and the part is so dangerous with no reward. If you get that ball taken off you, you've got a free run at goal. And they're 1-0 up or 1-1, and they're doing that. Why? Other teams don't do it. Man United didn't do that. Man United never give us anything like. But Tottenham are giving you. They give you opportunities that are so unnecessary.
But for me,
but it good.
it was good. But I came away from there and I was in pain most of the game. It wasn't something.
You know what? Right, I might move seats. Right, this geezer, man. Honestly, he's the most depressing. This was him. At one stage, right, he was like, let me just move the mic slightly. Right? One stage, he was sat like this. This was about 10 minutes ago. This was him. And I had to push him and go, I go, listen, you're the most depressing. I go,
I was done.
I go, lift yourself up, man. I go, we're winning the game.
I know. I've got to say, when they scored,
it wasn't an entertainment for me. I enjoyed, but then I suppose the way
lift yourself up, son.
The way that game was played, there was two teams, and for me, I like to say how wonderful Arsenal are, but if I actually watched that game, I thought it was an average to poor team against an average to good team. It wasn't a great game of football, but it was actually
an
entertaining game.
Listen, it was a great game of football. It was an entertaining game of football, right? But I
couldn't take it.
I get it.
I couldn't take it.
Hold on, I get it. You're an Arsenal fan. I'm an Arsenal fan. We're nervous.
I was
because we know that even a draw, right? We know.
Yeah.
You know when you're watching a game, any Premier League game, and you know you should be out of sight, and you're not. And you're thinking about the last couple of games where we should have been out of sight and we weren't, and then it cost us. I understand the anxiety, but bloody hell, man, you're so depressing.
Yeah,
I can imagine you.
No, listen, I'm going to be real. I'm with you.
Yeah. I'm not normally like that.
I didn't eat before going. I came home last night. I'm weak because I've not eaten. I feel a physical wreck because it means so much and all that. And I thought we was hammering them, right? And I'm not being horrible. I'm talking to my mates, and I've got to thank them, Kevin and Paul, yesterday. Like, you know, I'm talking to them like we're dominating. I go, you watch. They have one shot and score, like, you know what I mean? And it was their second shot, and they go, I've gone. I said, I've got to go home. I'm going. They go, what are you on about, like? And do you know what?
Going?
I've done. I can't take this no more. You know? And Kevin said one thing to me yesterday. I said, we are not going to score. How are we going to score? And he said, we have got the set pieces. We'll get something from a set piece. And I said, that ain't going to be, how are we going to get two? We scored from the set piece and then we scored again.
And when we were 2-1 up, were you confident at that point? Were you actually enjoying it?
No.
I
didn't enjoy it until I don't enjoy those games, you know what I mean? I didn't really celebrate Gabriel's goal. I'll be honest, like, because
we celebrated the goals.
The second one, I'm up and I'm going really like, but I just I hate that game.
Yeah.
And because every time they go forward, I just think the worst. You know what I mean? Like, when it goes up our end, that's all right. I know they can't score then, you know what I mean? It's just a horrible game.
It's also, when teams attack us, we do look more vulnerable than when we attack other teams.
But that's saying sometimes it's just anxiety. I thought we defended brilliantly. And I thought
done absolutely nothing in that game. And he's got a deflected shot.
but we let him... We gave him the room.
We defended badly.
Yeah, we defended badly on both counts because we let Sarr run half the length of the pitch without putting a challenge. And then when they put the corner in, they left him on the edge of the box. They didn't close him down. Whereas when Arsenal players get in that position, it's almost like they're facing a brick wall a yard away from them.
And then, by the way, right, yet another team that tried to deploy this thing of leaving two players up front on the halfway line, right? And it didn't work, did it?
No. Well, it worked on most of the corners because we scored one. We had a lot of corners.
Well, it's not worked then, is it? Right? It's not worked, right? Because we scored from a corner. I think that's suicide tactics. I really do. I think, right, I think on one occasion, the ball went near Son, he ran towards the ball and then they just got to him. It didn't work. You're leaving yourself really vulnerable when you're leaving players up the pitch and you've got less guys to defend people like Gabriel. He was in on a couple of others as well. Right, they were very fortunate.
Yeah, he did.
The keeper done well on a lot of them by getting it, and
very fortunate because there's one where he hit the bar as well.
Yeah.
Right. I just think, like, you know,
it is an interesting strategy because,
but it's not working.
It has.
I've not seen it work in any game.
How many corners did we have? How many corners did we have yesterday?
I think it was
12.
over.
Yes, it was over 10. The majority they defended and we didn't score from. And for me, it is an interesting tactic. And it was actually something I employed over 20 years ago in Maccabi League. But it was almost like but I did it far more extreme for one game at the end of the season. And I actually put everyone on the halfway line, apart from our goalkeeper. And the idea was that the goalkeeper is going out with his hands.
Well, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Well...
It is Maccabi League.
It was ridiculous, but psychologically the other team had never seen that before. And what they did, they then put about 9 of their players back on the halfway line. So all that happened, the ball came across, and the goal, of course they are, and the goalkeeper caught it and kicked it out, and we were on the attack.
Well, then that's absolutely ridiculous. That just shows me the standard of that Maccabi League, right? It must have been absolutely
different. But
let me just say, right, that must be an absolutely dreadful standard because if you put how many men?
9 up front.
So we put pretty much everyone.
So you put 10 men on the halfway line, right?
So we put 9. We left one defender back and the goalkeeper.
All right, so
they didn't know what to do. So they were looking at it going, what?
Yeah, so that sums up the standard of that league because straight away I would just say to myself, play it short. You've got 9 men against 1.
Yeah.
What kind of madness is that? That is the most ridiculous. The standard of that league, right, must have been.
He was a star player in it as well.
But the thing is, right, is that the problem is, right, that only works if you've not conceded from a corner, and they have.
Listen,
and to me, when you do that, you're leaving yourself short. And when you've got the dangers of Gabriel, Saliba, all these guys creating so much chaos in the box, because on one occasion, did they manage to get the ball up to those guys on the halfway line?
The other thing is, and the reality is, you don't score that often from corners. Right, you don't. That's
you don't score from every corner, do you?
That's the reality of it.
You only have to score from
Arsenal
one.
have put it in a thing where every corner is dangerous, and so like it's on there. And listen, you know there will be games when we don't score from corners because that's how it is. But we look so dangerous, and
Every time.
and I was talking to a fan on the way home on the train yesterday, and he was sitting by their fans, and he was saying every time we had a corner. You know, like the Arsenal fans are going, like, you get a bit worried. They could see the fear in the Spurs fan, not just Spurs fans, because it's another corner. So even though you're not scoring from it, you're putting uncertainty into that team. Like,
yeah, but ultimately they were more successful from corners because they had less corners and they scored.
Yeah.
So how's that?
Yeah, but they scored.
Yep. They scored from less corners, and I actually thought that was one of the big contributing factors of Sterling yesterday. He might not have beaten his man that often, but he got us quite a few corners, which then led to dangerous situations.
He should have scored in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah.
What was he doing?
Yeah.
But listen,
great run from City.
At the end of the day, it's take the North London derby and rivalry all out of it. That was a massive 3 points. We're now 4 points behind Liverpool. Obviously, they got that game in hand against Everton, right, which they'll play in February. 4 points. That now is starting to look like something that, you know, can be, you know, because obviously we took advantage of them drawing. You know, they got the draw against Nottingham Forest. And also what I wanted to do today is, as well as looking at that Villa game, take a look at the fixture. Let me do that right now. Let's take a look at some of the fixtures coming up for both sides.
Is it a two-horse race now? Or is it still a one-horse race?
I think Newcastle could be coming into it. The form there.
Well, what about Forest?
No.
You know, Forest are still there.
Yeah.
So we've got to give Forest a lot of credit.
Coming up.
You know, Forest just got a draw with, you know, Forest, by the way, right, have taken 4 points off of Liverpool this season. They beat them at Anfield and drew them at their place.
About that, yeah.
So we've got to show respect to Forest. But I want to focus on the top two, right? So obviously, let's just take a look at Liverpool. These are the games that they have coming up.
Brentford.
Say over the next, you know, from now and into early February. At the weekend, they go away to Brentford. Not even though we went there and we won 3-1. Brentford, you know, 2-2 draw in their last home game against Man City has been not an easy place to go to for a lot of teams. Then Liverpool. Oh no, I'm sorry, I was skipping past it here. Oh, what happened to the? Sorry, I did have all this here. Then they got Ipswich.
Is that at home?
They got Lille in the Champions League, but we want, they're ready through.
Ipswich first game of the season, didn't they?
Yeah, they got Ipswich at home. You'd expect them to win that. Then a couple of Champions League games, but at the start of February, they go away to Bournemouth. That's not an easy game right now. You know what I mean? Bournemouth, you know, even going away and getting a result at Chelsea. Then, of course, they've got a couple of cup games. They've got their second leg game against Spurs in the Carabao Cup. They go away in the FA Cup against Plymouth. That's pretty. They'll be able to change everybody.
Yeah, Arsenal got a
that's a long trip, though.
But they got a little tricky game. Then the rearranged game against Everton on the 12th of February. So, you know,
while we're in Dubai, that
well, only if we qualify. I think what they're saying with Arsenal is only if we was to automatically qualify. So if we win the next two Champions League games, and then they also got Man City away in February. They got Newcastle at home as well on the 25th of February as well. So they've got some pretty tricky games coming up. Liverpool games that, you know, some of those tricky away games that we were saying last season we've already done. They have a few of those on the horizon coming up, you know, in February. Arsenal, Villa this weekend, of course. Never easy. Remember last year Villa did beat us. Then after that, we go away to Wolves.
To that
We've had a decent record at Wolves over the last couple of seasons. Then we've got Girona. Then at the start of February, Man City. We've got the Carabao Cup game, as we know, against Newcastle.
Leicester.
And then, because we are out of the FA Cup, there's a little, like a 10-day gap where Arsenal can, you know, have a little rest, whether they go to Dubai or whether it's here in the UK. Then Leicester away, which Leicester are not going great at the moment, followed by West Ham at home. It's not those fixtures are winnable fixtures. You'd argue Liverpool, I think, you know, in February are going to have you know, some hard games. So that result was very, very important for Arsenal to peg it back to 4 points. The title race is back on. Yeah. I think Arsenal, I mean, listen, I don't want to talk too much about transfers because we all know that Mikel Arteta admitting after the game he has to go and buy attacking players. But if they could get 1 or 2 good signings in,
it's going to be the make or break, isn't it? If they do that, like, you know, the one thing that I will say, you know, everybody sort of says, like, you know, they got that game in hand and it's Everton. After what we experienced yesterday, there's nothing like it, is there? That local derby,
and that's away.
It's away,
and it's the last game.
Away at Goodison.
Last game at Goodison. All the emotions are around that derby game. I don't care what you say. Like, it's a different game. That game yesterday is different to Man United. It was different to Newcastle. It was different to Aston Villa. It was different. The atmosphere in that ground yesterday was electric. But the emotions of it.
And the fear of losing is just so much. Like, not even losing for us. If we draw,
so like,
that's
even
like
a draw's
loss.
not good for Liverpool. Like in that game, if you be, you know, like that is the difference. So when they go, it's a give me when you're playing these teams. It is not in your local derby. That there's something different.
That's what Yardman said. It's only Spurs.
Yeah, but no,
that is not the case.
You know, well,
it's only Spurs when they play Ipswich, but there's something different.
Have they been faltering a bit, Liverpool? I mean, if you look at some of their recent results, they had that draw.
Draw with Man United.
You know, they draw. I mean, listen,
lost to Spurs.
Draw against Man United. Lost to Spurs with like a pretty. You know, what I mean, it weren't like they made a million changes in that game. Salah, all those guys. Lost to Spurs. All right, they beat Accrington Stanley. That's expected at home, and then they've drawn with Forest. Are they going through a little bit of a blip at the moment? I mean,
listen,
the Brentford game's going to be a big test for them this weekend.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think you know, that will show a lot about Liverpool, because they could have been at some stage in the last 2 weeks 12 points clear, and they're not. And then all of a sudden it could be 1 or 2 or 3. You start. We've been there.
We know we've been there.
We've been there.
We've been
like,
there.
You know, well, we could be 12 points clear, and all of a sudden, well, it's gone down to 3 or 4. So the thing is, we just got to keep it.
Pressure increases.
The pressure builds, and you know what, right? You know, sometimes you're out of these cup competitions, right? You then start to have, like, when a team's breathing down your neck, right? And I'm not saying, listen, we still got to win these games, but if a team's breathing down your neck and then you're playing a cup game and that means you ain't got no Premier League game that actual weekend, or you play that during the week.
Well, that's another.
You can find yourself behind all of a sudden. From being out in front, you find yourself behind. You know what I mean? You've had a couple of weeks when you ain't played it. You've got games in hand, but you have to. We know about this pressure.
Yeah. It's a great point.
Yeah, but then for us to add to that pressure on Liverpool, or get the pressure going, we've got to do one thing, learn how to do one thing, which is put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah. Because that's what's missing. If you can't put the ball in the back of the net, it doesn't matter what Liverpool do. Yes, it is.
For me,
after yesterday, it's worrying. Just because we won, I'm not going to be kidded by the performance.
I still feel that, you know, this January transfer window is so important for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Like, that attack that we've got at the moment
is not going
to win the league.
It's not going to get you top 4.
But it could be good enough, but it's not.
It will get you top 4. It won't win you the league.
It will.
But it's not firing.
It's
not firing. Listen, don't get me wrong. Players in there that are, you know, are misfiring at the moment can hit form.
Yeah.
You know, but still, it's not good enough to win the league. That needs something.
There's not enough of them. That's the thing.
It needs something. We need options off the bench.
Well, we're putting Cini on at left wing.
Yeah.
That he might have put a great ball in, didn't he?
No, I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it.
But yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's what we said. I think Declan Rice said that, didn't he?
I think our defence is good enough to win the league. I think our midfield is good enough to win the league. The attack is not. We have to. Have to. And one of those signings, I'm not saying we can get, one of those has to be some X factor signing for me. Can't be just some little filler players. One of them can be. One could be one of those has got to be. I feel if you get one that's like everyone's like, wow, that could make the difference.
And how many wow players are there that you can get in?
They're out there.
In your view, who is a wow player?
A wow player? I think a wow player is, you know, people may not say wow right now, but I think, say, if you went and got Vlahovic, that would be a wow player.
He's not really, doing it since he went to Juventus, is he?
Well, he's been, yes, he has. He's been scoring. He's had a decent season this year.
Quite decent.
Right? If you go and get somebody like Osimhen, right? I'm talking about two players that I feel are doable. He's Vlahovic. I know it wouldn't be easy, but he's got 18 months left on his deal. You could rattle that cage. Can't guarantee that it will come, but you could rattle that, because when you start to, if they don't sign a new deal with him and he gets to the end of the season, there's 1 year left, his value drops right down. So they might take a view that, you know what, let's cash in, especially as they've got Kolo Muani now. I don't know, these are just scenarios. The one that is gettable is Victor Osimhen. He's on loan at the moment at Galatasaray. He helped Napoli to win the league. He's scoring goals everywhere that guy goes. I know some people say sometimes that he also misses chances, but I think he's a prolific goal scorer everywhere he's been. That's a doable deal for around about, say, 65, 70 million quid. It's a doable deal. And I think that if he's playing, he's a centre forward. I'd be excited by that.
Do you know when you say, like, wow signing, I get what you're saying and all that, like, but Thierry Henry wasn't a wow signing. You know what I mean? And he wasn't doing the business.
And Perez wasn't a
yeah, the second player you get can be that. But for me, we need a proven goal scorer right now, because we're going into a period now where it's got to be someone who's proven. You can't be a project. We don't need a project right now.
But there is enough.
We need a proven.
Players
I just gave you two
already in the Premier League, because it is a different type of league. And if
who would you go for?
I think we need someone for right here, right now. And I'm not saying Osimhen wouldn't be, or who's the other guy from Juventus? Vlahovic wouldn't be, but it's a little bit more unknown, and it will take them for them to change countries and all the settling in. We haven't got that time, so I think in January we need someone from another Premier League team.
Yeah, but you know, I think that's the difficulty. I mean, you know, there's like a Brian Mbeumo, but
it comes from.
I don't think there's no way Brentford can sell Brian Mbeumo, if I'm being honest.
But if you put Brentford under pressure, if you look, you talk about the dark arts, tap him up. I'm sure it's happening.
Well, you don't have to tap up a player now. You know what I mean? It's January transfer window. You can go to his representatives. You can say to them, listen, we want him. Get him to make noises that he wants to leave.
Well, that's tapping up.
So you can. It's not tapping up's when you do it.
In my view,
tapping up's when you're not supposed to do it. But you can actually do it now. You can negotiate.
You can disrupt it, and some of them do get out strike. That's your opportunity, Brian. If you want to come to Arsenal, it's in the next couple of weeks. So it's up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Because this is your window. Because in the summer we've got other.
We might go somewhere else.
We might go somewhere else. You want your big move to a team like Arsenal? It's great. Brentford, lovely team, lovely little team. You know,
is that who you go for?
I'd go for a player like him.
I'll be with that.
And the other one that I've seen is the Bournemouth guy, Anton
Semenyo.
Yeah, he's good.
I think he's good. Yeah. I think you can go to teams like a Brentford and a Bournemouth, and you just put them under pressure.
Yeah. Wide players, though, man. I want a striker. I think we need a wide player also. He does score goals, but I want an out-and-out striker.
I think you need two.
If we had an out-and-out striker, quality striker against Spurs last night. What was that score?
But anyone that can put the ball in the net. Doesn't have to be a centre forward, just someone that
I want a centre forward.
I'm still going for John Duran. That's the one
I think
that's another option.
They're coming down on Saturday. There's not. It's difficult.
West Ham put in a bid for him.
Yeah, it's difficult to keep two top strikers happy. Like, you know what I mean? And they're obviously going to go Watkins, so that you could.
And they've got some sort of PSR issues, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Where they have to balance the books, West Ham. Aston Villa. Yeah. They do have that, you know what I mean? And, you know.
You put them under pressure. However big Villa are, and look, they've got European pedigree in the past, but they've not been a big club for the last however many years. We are a bigger club. We can put them under pressure. We can give these guys something to think about. You've got a few weeks to make your decision. It's typical sales technique. You put people under pressure is time limited, and it really is time limited, because come the summer we've got far more time to put these things together. We need someone Premiership proven that can put the ball in the back of the net now.
And the good thing about and I look at the Duran one, when people go, "Oh, does he won't want to come," or Villa won't sell and all that. They've got him there, and they can't guarantee him regular first team football because of Ollie Watkins. Same with Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins is going to get I think it can be done.
The reason why I think the Duran one can be done as well, because I do think he's going to go in the summer. I think he'll go in the summer. So they might
things are not right there.
They might just think to themselves, right, if that big offer, only if a big offer comes in, because they've already had West Ham have already offered them 40 million and they turned it down.
I think they're going to have to go bigger than that.
Right. So if a big offer comes in, I mean, it's rumoured that they want about 60 million. I don't think they're getting that. They're not getting 60 million for John Duran, right? Off the back of a good sort of first part of a season coming off the bench. I don't think they're going to get that. But if you know, and Arsenal going to have to pay over the odds wherever they want.
But it's the missing link for us. That is the one thing. When I looked at the performance yesterday, especially in that first 20 minutes, I thought we had everything in our team other than the ability to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, but I like the Osimhen one because I just look at it and think he's done it. He hasn't done it here in the Premier League, obviously, but he did it with Napoli. Right, he got them over the line. It was his goals that got them over the line. And you look at that guy's record when he was at Lille, scored goals. Napoli scored goals. Galatasaray now scored goals. He's a goal scorer. I think he would definitely want to come to the Premier. Well, he wanted to go to Chelsea, didn't he?
The only thing that I've got a problem with this striker role, really, and I'm just looking at it like all the chances yesterday, none of them felt Havertz. You know what I mean? Like,
no, he had one chance.
No,
he had that header.
Off the goalkeeper.
In that good
yeah, two chances, man. You're talking about. No, he had that header.
No, I'm talking about in that first 20, 25 minutes when we want to see your centre forward on the end of things, and we haven't got the centre forward. I don't know if that's Havertz's fault or the way we're playing or whatever. We've got to get the chances to this guy. You know what I mean? Odegaard yesterday, I thought was some of his touches are superb. When he gets in the box, he's like a puzzle, and he falls apart. You know what I mean? Like,
which is really, he's strange because he was so
weird.
He was so good in front of goal for the last previous seasons. I think he's scored like one goal this year.
He done when he brought it down yesterday and left three players. Oh my God!
But that's what I'm saying. We seem to have everying up to the point of
that goal scorer.
And if we get that goal scorer,
I think we need two players.
Do you know what? I feel more like. Do you know when like you go into that game yesterday? I know it's Spurs and all that, but I weren't confident, and I'm not confident about Villa and all that because I don't think we've got that forward or that front three is good enough. You know, but if you was to get that forward, just say like
go and get it,
you'd be going to games a little bit more confident.
I said it the other day, right? I go, listen, and this is what I'm saying with the current, without Saka, we're not winning the title with that front line. You look, so we're going to face. We faced Newcastle the other day. They got a better front three. You know, when you currently, they got a better front three than us easy. Even with our best front three, it would be Saka, Isak, Gordon. Yeah. We played United. Their front three is not great. But we played Spurs. Front three.
Son,
right,
Solanke.
It'd be Son and Solanke would probably. Would Solanke? I'm not too sure about him actually. Maybe Havertz.
He's a goal
him and Havertz have scored the same amount of
He's
goals.
not a goal scorer that we want. He's okay.
He's not good enough for us.
No.
Right, and then the game this weekend, they got a better front three than us as well.
Yeah.
They've got Ollie Watkins, they got Duran they can put in there, they got what's the winger? Bailey.
Rogers is
a midfield player. But they got Bailey. You know what I mean?
Good players,
right? So I'm like, fix that. I know a lot of it's, we've had the injury to Saka, but the other guys are not firing. Go and get. Even we played Brentford the other day. Wissa and Mbeumo. They'd be way better than our front three. So, we see it every game. We see what the problem is. These guys are not. Maybe if those guys are taking out the firing line a little bit, you can bring other people in, refresh it. Then they'll step up, like what Trossard did yesterday. Then they start to step up. But you can see players that are misfiring. You can see guys that don't. It's almost like they're trying everything to get that perfect shot off. There's one time Martinelli was through.
Oh, he went on that run.
Yeah, brilliant run. And you're just like, shoot. What did Son do? Son shot, right? From the edge of the box. 2 deflections gone in.
It's going to be a great goal.
Yeah, but that
would have been an amazing goal, but he held on to it too long.
That's obviously, for me, how they're being coached.
No, that's a lack of confidence. You're in that situation. You've done the hard
touches.
No, but that's not coaching. You've beaten the players. You've gone on a brilliant run. Get your shot off.
Yeah, why didn't he shoot?
Get your shot off. There's nothing to do with coaching. Get your shot off now. But that's a lack of confidence where he's thinking to himself, boy, the whole stadium's watching thing. I want to make sure. When you got them top strikers, right? It's just once they get into a certain position, bang, just instinctive. But our guys, how did our goal come yesterday? Right, Trossard just like, right, I'm going to bang it now.
Yeah.
He didn't keep going and going. He just went bang. That's what kind of did the keeper, because I don't think the keeper was expecting, even though he should probably have saved it. The keeper, I don't think he was expecting to bang it that quick. That's the difference. It reminded me that goal that Trossard scored, of the one that Jimenez scored for Fulham against us.
It was similar.
He just let it off early, boom, right into, and on target, into the corner, right, keeper, save this. But we're trying to make sure with everything. If it's a header, like Havertz, make sure.
Havertz had an open goal yesterday and he tried to pass it to someone.
Yeah.
What was he doing?
The confidence is not there.
Then a few weeks ago, Martinelli was clean through. I think it might have been against Newcastle, and you were criticising him because he didn't go closer to goal. He took the shot too early.
Yeah, but he took the shot too early. But also he could. No, but again, that's not coaching. That's a lack of composure, because he's now in front of, like, he's got Dan Burn like 5 yards behind him.
He's doing the complete opposite to what you've just said.
No, but it depends. No, Julian, but it depends on the circumstance, right? So the one last night, he's beaten everybody. Now get your shot off, right?
That was a great run.
But then he's running too much. He's keeping going. When you've got the goal, you can pick your spot. The one the other day, he could have went draw the keeper out, because you've got so much time and space, because you've left everybody behind. But then he went early, and he also went for the harder part of trying to go like sort of the near post when he had the whole of the other side of the goal to pick. But he could have, if he'd have kept going, he could have picked his spot. All of the strikers, Ian Wright, all of those guys sharing, they're going, why did he shoot that so early? So
there is a time to shoot early and time not to.
It's a lack of composure, and I think a lot of that is down to a lack of confidence.
By the way,
yeah, it's down to a lack of confidence with him and Havertz, and even been Trossard. That goal that Trossard scored yesterday might now lift him, where he says, right, now I'm, because listen, I'm sure they can all finish.
We've seen it,
but we've seen it over the years.
Who starts on the weekend as the front three then? Did you leave Sterling out?
I think I'd leave Sterling out for
so you looked absolutely knackered when he came off, didn't he? Right? I mean, I don't know. I might start him just for balance. I didn't really like Martinelli on that right hand side. Although to be fair, what he kept doing is sort of playing more like he was sort of playing more like the centre forward, wasn't he? And Havertz was.
I'll give him a go down.
So he did look dangerous, and Havertz was like more on the right wing, wasn't it? It was sort of, so you could start.
But ultimately, if Sterling doesn't start, he's going to get at least half an hour, I would have thought. because there's.
Well, listen, you know what?
They haven't got enough.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't start Sterling. I probably would start with those three because they did threaten a lot. And Martinelli seemed to be playing more like sort of a centre. I think he can play there, but he just needs a little bit of composure. He's such a good player, but going back to it, we need to strengthen those areas, man.
Yeah.
Those guys will be better with more options.
Yeah.
Yes.
They will be better with more options. But at the moment, you know. And the game against Villa, I mean, looking at the record, obviously they beat us last season. We owe these lot, man. Remember last season?
Well, we beat them at their place.
We beat them at their place, but they beat us at our place last season.
Yeah.
And that was a...
But we were unlucky.
Hold on, let's remember that game.
Same thing, missing chance.
Chance after chance after chance. And got punished.
Yeah.
Right? So that's another one.
Trossard missed from a few yards, didn't he?
Yeah, from a yard, wasn't it? Or something like he saved it, didn't he? But
funny enough, like Villa, I was watching the highlights of their game yesterday. We're talking about missed chances. Everton missed that. I mean, Calvert-Lewin missed that. A hat full of chances, right? They, Villa missed a couple of chances as well, but they won the game 1-0. Ollie Watkins' goal, good finish.
Good finish, yeah.
But they opened them up really quickly.
Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed about that goal was how quickly they hit them on the counter. They got the ball and they won the ball very deep in their own half.
One pass.
Yeah, one pass opened them up. Very unlike Everton defending.
Really strange, right? Because that win yesterday ended a run of 5 straight defeats. Away from home in the Premier League for Villa. They've been really weird on the road. Yeah. You know what I mean? They've not been performing on the road. So
they've only lost one game recently, and that was against Newcastle when I think Rodgers was sent off after about 38 minutes. They lost 3-0.
No, but they've lost. As I said, that ended a run of 5 straight away defeats in the Premier League. For Aston Villa.
Yeah, they got
on the road. They've not been great.
Do you remember that game?
Yeah, remember they got was that about 4th Tottenham put past them.
Yeah. So they're listen, they're a funny sort of side, but
they've also got a few injuries. They've got especially down the middle. They've got McGinn out. That I think's against us. He's always performed really well.
He's a decent player. Yeah.
So he's out,
and they've got to come here and want this.
He's always going to.
Exactly.
I think it's been a few years now,
but he's still listen. He wants to win more in this game, and I get that. I get that. Emery, you know what I mean? He likes to put one over us, and because of what's happened, I get that.
Yeah, they've also got Pau Torres out, who's been pretty good for them since he came in.
Yeah,
so that disrupts.
Mings playing at the back.
Mings is playing. He's coming back from an injury. But and they've also, I think, what's more important for Villa is they're in 5th place, I think, in the Champions League group. They got a massive game Tuesday afternoon against Monaco. Now, if they can Tuesday at 5:30, so 5:45 kickoff.
Was that in Monaco?
In Monaco. So that for them is going to be, I would have thought, a bigger game for them than it is.
Yeah, but they're also going okay in the league. You know, I mean, they're in 7th place, 35 points, same amount of points as Man City.
But they've got less to play for in the league. I don't think they've got any chance.
They'll go strong.
Title. They've got a chance at the top 4.
Got a chance at the top 4. They're going to go strong. They've got more chance of getting into the top 4 than they have a win in the Champions League.
No, but if they can beat Monaco on Tuesday, that pretty much guarantees we've got 13 points straight into the round of 16.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying there, but the one thing I will say is that the top 4, I thought 3-4 weeks ago was probably, you could say it was going to be this and that, Chelsea and all of a sudden Chelsea have dropped a little bit. It has given the likes of Villa, definitely Newcastle now, a real...
Yeah, I mean, listen, Aston Villa
and Forest to get top 4.
Aston Villa 3 points off Newcastle.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? So you know, what I mean, like
Newcastle in the top 4 now, aren't they? They got to the top 4, yes, didn't they?
And Aston Villa are 2 points off Chelsea, and they're on the same amount of points as Man City. I think that the game on Saturday, they'll treat that as more as a priority than the Champions League game. They will come with a very strong team. The aim of and Aston Villa is to get into the Champions League, right? They know that probably they haven't got enough to win it.
They're in the Champions League.
I know, but
they're one game on Tuesday. This is where it's.
But the aim is for them to get into for next year.
Distance of the round of 16.
And I also want Aston Villa to win the FA Cup.
I don't think they will go with a weak side.
Why?
Well, do you think?
Got Spurs.
Are you implying that you think they're going to play a weakened team against Arsenal?
You're saying one eye on.
I think they've got one eye on Tuesday. What I'm saying is Tuesday for them.
Saturday, Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah, Saturday, Tuesday. The Tuesday game for them, I think, is more important. And I'm not saying the Arsenal game is unimportant. It's just if they've got.
But what are you saying? You think they're going to rest players? Then?
I think they're likely to rest players.
No, I don't. They won't rest players.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins, all those guys will be playing in that game.
Oh, yeah,
Rogers, all those.
He's got choices.
Got choices up front.
What do you reckon? It'd be one or the other. One to play one game, one to play the next.
I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins, Rogers, all those guys will play in that game. Right? It's going to be a tough game.
It is interesting because...
And they're confident because they came there and won last year. And, you know, they've seen... The one thing about them as well, they're going to be more defensive than Tottenham. Those are the sort of teams we've been struggling against. And they're a very good counter-attacking team.
Very good.
Right?
Very
so,
good.
Arsenal... It's going to be another one of those where Arsenal, I think, will get chances. Because I saw how many chances Everton got last night. We have to take them. We have to take them.
Yeah.
But if we were to win that game,
When did you
it'd be
watch
huge.
the Everton game last night then?
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh, when I went home.
What match of the day?
Yeah.
What time did you get to bed last night?
I went to
About
bed
3.
I was to bed about 3.
I went at 3. I was in bed about 4. I didn't listen. I didn't finish. We finished.
Yeah.
Listen, we didn't even finish doing.
11 the roof.
Yeah.
You know what time we finished our last fan cam last night? It was after 1.
What time do you wake up?
After 1 in the morning.
What time do you wake up?
What time do I wake up? 7. Right, because I have to do research
as well. I did 6.
Yeah. So I got in late. I got in way later than you, and I was a few hours sleep doing research for Transfer Daily before you get smart and smug, and got in here at the same time as you. Yeah. Got anything else you would like to?
No, I mean,
is that part of your Maccabi League tactics?
Yeah. But my calculations are that I had an hour's more sleep than you, but you've got a better mattress, as you told us before.
I've got a beautiful mattress, right? Congratulations. You know what I mean? And after this, you'll be tottering off home to lie on your mattress while I'm still got to work all day. But it's all good. Yeah. But
so I just sit home doing nothing.
I've heard, yeah. Give me your predictions then. Come on, give me your predictions for that game.
Well, I think if Arsenal carry on playing the way they have done the last few games, it's going to be a draw.
Yeah.
Because everything we've just been discussing about Villa plays into their hands because a team that sits deep and attacks quickly, that's really what we don't want.
As much as it was great to beat Spurs and all that, there was so many. You could actually pull out a lot of negatives about that, but you're not going to because you beat Spurs. But I'm with you. It wasn't that Tottenham team. Aston Villa are a better team, and they were poor.
And they'll be organised.
Aston Villa are a better team, as I said.
And I think tactically,
as I said, they've not been very good on the road.
No, they haven't. So I'm going to
fancy us.
Yeah, I'm going to back us.
So I'm thinking of a way to spin this around. Okay, so we've been that poor in front of goal, and you can think of each individual miss as being, terribly unlucky. And I know it's not because you can't have that many misses and just put it down to luck. But maybe we'll get really lucky this week. And we'll
Odegaard's going to step up.
Yeah.
I'm going for a
3-1. I think I'll go with.
I'm going to go 2-1. Be a struggle.
2-0.
2-0.
If we can just get an early
Do you know
goal.
one thing that worried me yesterday? I don't know if you noticed. I see Saliba cramping up yesterday. Did you see that?
Everyone was knackered in that game.
Yeah.
Did you see Timber? He was absolutely shattered. Listen, and you understand they're flogging these players. They played like extra time.
Yeah.
Now they're talking about no extra time.
3 games in 6 days. This is by the way. This is going to be the first.
Have we got any update on the injuries, Calafiori?
No update. I mean, but they were absolutely shattered after that game. But listen, Villa played as well. They played a game as well. So it's the
but
same
they played
on
the. I know it's saying shit. I know
and they've gone away
on the Friday in the FA Cup. Had a little bit of an extra thing like that.
Yeah, but they have played on Wednesday. They played last night. Like we played last night.
It was an away game.
3 really intense games in 6 days is difficult.
And this is where you need the options.
Yeah.
Up front, and we ain't got them at the moment. So
we ain't got it at the back, really. You know what I mean? Like the quicker Ben White gets back, the better. Because Timber, he must be on the danger zone now.
Yeah. You know what, Lee? That's the other thing that someone was making a point to me as well. He goes, if you go into the transfer market and you bring in those attacking players, there's a lot of players to come back. So you could have a strong squad going into that second half of the season.
100%.
Only if you add to that front line.
Like, I know Tommy Asu's back in training, but that don't mean anything. But Ben White, if we can get them two back and even on the bench.
Well, Ben White should be back in February.
Yeah, so
listen, all right, well, what was your, so you went what?
I went 3-1 in the end after saying I think it'll be a draw. If they can't put the ball in the back of the net, we'll be lucky to get a draw.
Okay.
But
pretty obvious that.
Yeah.
But with a bit of luck, they might stick nine up front, like, you know what I mean? We might get a free header, like, we'll win 1-0.
Tactical genius that was Junior Becker.
Yeah,
right. And what's your prediction?
I'm going to go 2-1, like, you know what I mean?
2-1.
I'm going to, you know what I mean, like, why? You're right. Why don't they just knock the corners to someone and just run it in, like, what? You know what I mean? This,
it was
no wonder he's a star player in this team.
You can imagine the confusion there. Well, look, what do we do? They'd never seen that before.
There's no confusion.
There's no confusion.
It'd be like, the confusion would be like, are they mad?
Are they mad? Yeah.
Well, let's just run it in.
Expect to seem like, you know.
That Maccabi League, I have to question the standard of it.
It was the last game of the season.
Or was it about the 5th division of the Maccabi League?
Third division. It was the last game of the season we actually played in fancy dress.
Oh my God.
I've had enough of
this.
I've had enough. Listen,
people, thank you very much for watching the show today. Right. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, we'll be back here next week, and also to check out all of our excellent content. Go and check out the interview with Sol Campbell, A-list special. Absolutely brilliant. You have to check it out. And he was right.
Can we just talk quickly about Sol? You know what I mean? He even messaged today, great result, lads. I just love him. He's a legend. He's an absolute Arsenal legend. Like, you know what I mean?
Arsenal legend, Sol Campbell. And the advert was brilliant. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.